Hi, this is Ronnie and welcome to my channel. Today is Punched Out Thursday with Kathy, Krista, and myself, and I will be using my How to Kill a Kit with Style. And of course, I'll be using punches because it's Punched Out Thursday. I'm going to scrap those two pictures there. And the first punch I'm going to use is a Martha Stewart punch, and I chose it because of the lacy edge that was on it. It kind of reminds me of a doily. But I am going to make a pinwheel with it. The black paper that I chose is pretty thin. It's cardstock, and it comes in a package at Hobby Lobby, 25 pieces I think for $4. So it's not very good. And no matter what I use it for, I have to be pretty careful with it. But if you've ever made a pinwheel, the best way to make one is to use thinner paper, and the paper works really well, but this being cardstock, it don't work quite as well. And I thought of that before I started, but I thought also that this is a Halloween layout, and so if it looks a little rough and ragged, that's fine. That it will go with my layout because it's going to have a distressed look on it, on the whole thing anyway. And the reason you want your paper thinner for it is folding it back and forth like this. A lot easier to fold. I did consider using one of the black papers that was in this collection. It's We Are Memory Keepers. But it's really sturdy and firm, and it would have been almost impossible to make the pinwheel with. I punched out a 1-inch circle and put liquid glue on it. I have used hot glue before, but I burnt myself once. Oh my goodness. I think my blood pressure went sky high. I didn't even have a blood pressure problem. But yeah, I was all stressed out. It was very painful. So I just use liquid glue anymore and hold it down for a second or two and then lay something on top of it. This spider paper here, I wanted to mat my pictures in it, and I wanted to make sure some of the spiders showed, so I made it a little bit bigger than I normally would have. I pulled out that orange because there is orange in the background paper, and I wanted to bring out a little bit more orange. She does have gold on, so there isn't anything in the picture for the orange, but I was wanting to use it. I did not use any purple. I was tempted to go over to my iris container and see if there was anything purple in there, because I know I have had some purple things before in there, but I just kind of put it off. It was across the room and I was busy making the layout, and then I forgot. So there is not going to be any purple on this layout. I am using the same punch that I used earlier, and I'm going to make a border for that orange paper. I also pulled out another punch. See, I'm cutting those two strips there, and I thought I'd run them along the edge of that. And then I thought of this braided looking punch. It's also a Martha Stewart punch, and I really like it a lot. It adds a lot. I think it adds a lot to your layout when you use it, and I probably used it more than any other border punch I've ever had, because for a while there I had to put it on every single layout. You know how it is when you find something you really like, and you can find a place for it on every layout, or at least make a place for it on every layout. I'm trimming the extra off there, so I'll have a full little design there instead of a point coming out, because I knew it was longer since it was 11.5 inches, and I would be able to do it and still have some left over. That's the braided punch that I had punched out, and I'm going to put the two pieces of black trim, just this plain pieces, right alongside of it. I just wanted to decorate that side and make it look good, and then I turn around and cover most of it up. But what you do see of it, I think, does look good to have that pattern there. I am going to put it along the edge of my paper. I'm not moving it towards the center. And the reason is because I like that chandelier that's in the upper right hand corner. I did a layout the other day that had this Victorian looking girl with all creepy crawly things on it, and I covered it up. But I like the chandelier, and I think it goes good with my pictures, and so I'm going to go ahead and use it. I took one of the die cuts from the little spider web, and I mounted it on top of my pinwheel, and I just put it over to the side so it'd go ahead and dry. I pulled out some of these labels here, trying to decide which ones I wanted to use on my page, and I'm only going to end up using one. I'm only going to end up using the one that says Venom. I'm going ahead and put my pictures down. The 4x6 is mounted straight onto the paper, but I'm going to put foam tape behind the 4x4. I'm trying out different places for that Venom. I know I want it on my layout, and I just couldn't decide where to put it. It's a little bit big, and so it was making it hard to decide. I'm going to end up cutting it in half. Well, maybe not quite exactly in half, but I'm going to cut it and put part at the top of the 4x4 picture and part at the bottom. All these, I went ahead and picked them up and went through them. I'd piled them on there so that I could decide what I wanted to use. I have a whole bowl of things that I fussy cut, punched, and die cut out. This piece of paper here, it has a lot of words on it like spooky and scary, and I don't remember what all. And they go in all different directions, so you really can't tell which is the top, which is the bottom. And so I just gave up. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it on there. I decided it was a little bright too, so I took some of that old paper and put on it. And while I had it out, I decided to go ahead and go over the top of everything that looked a little bit bright, because my background paper is distressed looking, and so is that orange, and I wanted everything to match. However, that little spider web is going to stay bright white till I'm taking pictures. I think I took all of them before I realized it, and so I had to stop and ink it up. And then I noticed the eyeballs. Yeah, you don't even know the eyeballs are on there yet. But yeah, I'll notice the eyeballs. And so those two things is going to end up changing after I get my layout done. I cut that piece of paper in half, and I'm going to put part at the top of the orange and part at the bottom. So it looks like it's going through the whole page. I was really wishing these pictures were smaller, but I've had them printed probably 3 years, maybe 4, and still had not scrapped them. And so I wasn't going to reprint them, so I just went ahead and used them at this size. I did cut the one down by 4x4. Using the makeup brush, and I'm putting some of that old paper on top of the white spider paper, just so it don't look so bright, and I still don't notice the spider web. I don't even know what I was thinking there. I'm going to make a shaker box out of that little fun punch. It says emboss plus sign and then punch. It don't have a name on it, so I'm not really sure by which company it is. But if you're interested in it, I keyed it in on the internet and came up with it. So you can find it. I did add the word fun. Emboss plus punch and then fun, and I did find it at a couple of places. They were like Etsy and eBay, I believe they were. Instead of getting my acetate out, there was some packaging that I just emptied, and I went ahead and used it. It does not punch out as well as the acetate. It is thinner, so it was kind of rough on the edges, but I just used my scissors and trimmed them. I am going to put orange in the background, and then, so I'm punching it at 1.5 inches, so it'll be the right size to go behind there. And I'm also going to use this foam tape, and I'm going to cut it really thin and take off the release paper so it's easier to go around that circle. It's easier to manipulate it the way you want it to go. This is Spiegelmom Scrap Sequins, and this one's called What's Up Buttercup. And the next one I'm going to use is Pretty Little Studio, and it's Buttered Corn. Then I'm going to pull out 3 darker orange and bigger sequins that were Studio Calico. I didn't have the packaging anymore. I just had them in a little container in the drawer next to me, and I just pulled out 3. It's a pretty small shaker box, so I didn't have room for any more. 3 was plenty in there. I am looking at these eyeballs, and until I opened this packaging, I did not even realize that they were brads, and I've had them for a long time, probably 5 years at least, and have not used any. So I put them in my kit so I'd be sure and use them. I put the ghost behind the shaker box, and he was kind of on the short side, so I went ahead and cut him in half so it looks like that he's a tall ghost or long ghost. Anyway, he's going to look longer than he did otherwise. The set of eyeballs that I pulled out are white, and they really show up good, don't they? Well, when I was taking the pictures, I thought, well, first I inked up the spider web, and then I really noticed the eyeballs after that. So I am going to end up taking them off and putting a different set of eyeballs on there. And those have just one brad, and then the other ones have a brad for each eyeball. So I am going to end up manipulating him and turning him into a bat. Here I'm cutting off Out for a Bite, and then I'm also going to cut off Spooks Are Going to Get You. And I'm going to make banners across there, and I cut that one a little bit short, and you can see it underneath the lacy look on that border. So I had to cut me one little piece extra just to put behind there so that I can bring it out far enough that you could actually see the O on out. I'm going to layer the banners, and then I'm also going to pull out one that says Happy Haunting, and that banner has a brad with it, and it's just going to lay on top. The orange, I thought it looked pretty good, so I pulled it out and cut it off that one piece of paper. And it has leaves all over it and designs. The brads that one banner came out of, the one that I'm working on right now, they were from Simple Stories, Frankie and something, I can't remember exactly what. I'd gotten a warehouse box from Simple Stories a few years back, and they were in another container. I was doing a different layout, and I was looking for some Simple Stories to use it for, and happened to notice these in there, and I thought, if I don't pull them out now, they may not get used until I run out of Halloween stuff. So I went ahead and put them in my kit. I looked for some paper in there, but I did not see any paper. I think I have another container with Simple Stories, though. And here's where I decided that I'm going to go ahead and use this venom and also cut it in half, and see, there it goes. And the top part of it says quality hand-milked venom of snakes and spiders. And then the bottom says 2-for-1 formula, guaranteed death or your money back. Now twice as potent. So I guess if it don't work, you will be alive to get your money back. But if you're dead, I guess it worked. And it's We Are Memory Keepers too. It came with the kit there, that bottom paper, it came with it. I added a spider to my little spider web, and here is where I noticed that those little banners were not straight. So I have to pull them up, take the little brad out, make another hole, and put the brad back in, because once I moved them, it was not in the right place, but it does look straight now, and I'm much happier with it. That little ghost there, I put it on foam tape, and I'm going to fill in the spot between the word this and the spider coming down from the chandelier with the little smiley ghost. He looks happy. Some of these look happy. I think most of them do. They're not scary ghosts. There's one that's like, oh, what's going on? And I'm going to put him up there towards the top. This one, oh, that's the one I put up there, yeah. I wanted him to look like he was looking down at something and going, oh. And the other one that I moved down to the bottom then has a smile like he sees the cat and he's happy. I decided I wanted another pattern paper here, and I didn't want it to look too much out of place, so I went ahead and got orange, and it has spider webs on it, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up too before it goes on there so that it matches everything else and has more of a distressed look. I think I'm losing my voice. I'm going to have to get done with this soon. I think I am about done with this, other than the changes that I make when I go back to do the pictures. If you remember the bat that was a die cut that was laying on the table, that is what I use with the little eyeballs right there. I took and clipped his ears off and put them on there, and I put the wings on there, and I still use the same circle I had earlier and put orange eyes instead of the white eyes that showed up and looked out of place. There's my little shaker, and there's my spider web that has been inked up so it didn't look as white, and there's my little bat that I put together using that die cut and the eyeballs. Yeah, it still has the circle punch though. I clipped the wings off and put them on each side and took the white gel pen and accented it. But that's my layout, and if you look below you'll see links to Kathy and Krista's channel. Plus, if you look farther below you will see everybody's link with all the inspiration for how to kill a kit with style. If you want to leave a comment, I'll be sure to get back with you. You can either ask a question, or if you just want to chat, that's fine with me too. And I think I'm losing my voice here. If you like the video, you put a thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a happy scrappy week. Bye.